Kapitel 6 Thriller der Hawkins. Pierce erwacht in einer Anstalt im Keller des Riverside-Instituts. Dort traf er auf Dr. Colden, eine Freundin von Bradley, die ihm zur Flucht verhalf. Er durchstreichte den Ort, an dem Dr. Fuller uneingeschränkt herrscht, und konnte mit einem Mann namens Francis Sanders sprechen. Bevor er vor den Augen des Detektivs starb, beschuldigte er Sarah Hawkins als Grund für seine Qualen. Schließlich verließ Pierce gemeinsam mit Bradley und Colden das verfluchte Gebäude. Die drei Verbündeten beschließen, in der Villa der Hawkins Unterschlupf zu suchen. Für Corny haben wir einen Käufer? Geil.
Who goes there?
Mach mal 30k.
That nightmare again. I need a drink.
Was? Das war alles nur ein Traum? Wow. Wow. Okay. Das ist Cthulhu hier. Okay, krass.
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
No, wenn es besser geht, auf 40k, genau.
How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
Okay.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Vielleicht habe ich eine Spur.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there, with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Ja,
Don't
anscheinend.
end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Es gibt anscheinend mehrere Endings von dem Spiel.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Ja, Luki. Lumi, 100k. Jawohl.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Okay, wo ist die Witwe? Pierce und Colin Bradley beschlossen, den Fall Sarah Hawkins gemeinsam zu lösen. Sie haben eine neue Spur, der sie nachgehen. Francis Saunders, ein Kunstsammler und Freund der Malerin, der direkt vor Pierce starb. Der Detektiv geht zu dessen Haus, um mit seiner Witwe über den Schlürfer zu sprechen, den der Mann vor seinem Tod erwähnte.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins.
Okay, ihr beiden,
Can I
schlaf gut, gute Nacht
You may.
und danke, dass ihr da wart.
However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
Schlaf gut, bye bye, bis morgen.
You know each other.
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The main thing is that we understood one another. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Ja, wir sagen die
He
Wahrheit, ne?
started raving, screaming that a dimensional shambler had found him.
Oh, mercy, that story again. Why have him interned?
That was when he began to convulse and twist with pain, or terror. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not really sure of what I saw, or what I didn't see. But it's best that you weren't there.
I should have been there. What you're telling me is outrageous. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Hm.
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you are so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Zweite Band der Reihe direkt vom Gasöde. Beschreibt höchst Nephir. Oh, Entschuldigung. Er friert es alles ab. In meiner präzisen und detaillierten Studie führt dieses Buch fortschrittliche Theorien auf. Die unglaubliche Komplexität dieses Werkes beschränkt die Leserschaft auf medizinische Experten.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Žluva. Wo ist der Žluva? Ich entwickle mal mehr von Konien. Jawohl.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Ganz schöne verpackte Schilder. Ich habe es verbessert und jetzt golden und man kommt Superkräfte, wenn man Krone ist. Jawohl. Laserstrahlkron.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
Dennis
An
Gallery.
old diary.
In dieser Ausgabe gab es um Wigwoods Gemeinde. Seine Frau beschreibt ihre Sorgen über die seltsamen Träume, die die Gemeinde des Wyverns seit ihrer Ankunft heimsuchen. Einige Mitglieder der Gemeinde und auch ihr Ehemann begannen von ihrer Vision eines von Gott gesandten Boten zu sprechen. Sie hat Angst, dass sie das gleiche Schicksal leiden wie das verlorene Stamm.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Ich bitte dich, die Hoffnung aufzugeben, jemals dieses verfluchte Gemälde zu besitzen. Wenn du unsere Freundschaft auch den kleinsten Funken Bedeutung zuschreibst, dann erspare mir die Last der Schuld. Ich kann nicht die Schöpferin deines Untergangs sein. Ich kann nicht die Schöpferin deines... ich bitte dich, mein lieber Freund, vergiss den Schlurfer. Meine Freundin Sarah Hawkins.
Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
I could use one of those.
Von dieser schlaft er im Haus des Sanders. Wohnen Sie Francis oder er jenes Sanders verschrieben?
A strange Amerindian pendant.
Vermutlich indianischen Ursprungs. Ich frage mich, welchen Zweck es wohl hatte. Jetzt haben wir 200.000 bestimmt, oder, Tomi? Es ist eine Art Lexikon monströser und unbekannter Kreaturen. Langsam fange ich an zu glauben, dass sie wirklich existieren. Dissertation über eine Anatomiefrage. Eine gebundene Ausgabe einer studentischen Arbeit, obwohl die Beobachtungen relevant sind, fehlt die Expertise eines erfahrenen Arztes. Mit den gestellten Fragen können wir uns aber neue Wege vorstellen, die menschliche Anatomie zu erforschen. Die müssen wir uns anscheinend verstecken.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Okay. Was ist das groß hier?
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
Boah. Guck dir das an hier.
The public entrance to the gallery.
Ah. Wir sind reich. Was passiert hier? Moin?
What the hell was that?
Gute Frage. Oh Gott. Oh. Ah, der weiß. Ja, ja. Wo ist denn an? Ich habe keine Ahnung, ehrlich gesagt. Es sind hier 20.000 verschiedene Daggers. Absolut keine Peile, Mann.
What the hell was that?
So richtig verstehen. Tue ich nicht. Ah.
Maybe I can use this dagger.
Das kann sein. Junge, Junge, Junge. Tatsache. Ah, gut, hast du gut mit dir gedacht, danke. Okay. Wäre jetzt aber auch meine letzte Vermutung gewesen. War aber nicht leicht, das Haus zu finden, muss ich mal ganz ehrlich sagen.
What was that?
Hm. 500 IQ.
Yeah, maybe I can use this dagger.
Das hat mir noch nie gesehen. Wie ein Preis? Eine Ladung Popcorn.
Damn it. This dagger didn't work.
Oh, wir müssen die richtige Deutsch finden auch noch.
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection?
Ah. Okay. Der Zwirbel muss es sein, okay. Der Zwirbeldeutsch. Der Zwirbel.
What the hell was that? Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Zwirbel. Nee. 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 Ist es der?
Damn. This dagger looks different.
Jetzt ist er tot.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
The creature, this dagger, was the only weapon capable of pushing it back. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this shambler, she might have made contact with Drake. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Der Schlüpfer erwies sich als viel mehr als nur ein von Sarah Hawkins gemaltes Kunstwerk. Eine riesige Kreatur entstieg dem Gemälde, um Pierce anzugreifen. Nach einem erbitterten Kampf schaffte es der Detektiv, das Monster wieder in das Gemälde zu verbannen. Später entdeckte er, dass er von ihm im Kampf benutzte Deutsch von Algernon Drake, dem Besitzer der namenlosen Buchhandlung, an Sanders verkauft wurde. Pierce beschließt, dem Plan einen Besuch abzustatten. Dude.
Where's the bookseller?